Welcome, CNG 132, 2-week number 10. This week we take a dive into um, mobile embedded device security. We look at different types of mobile devices, um, phones, tablets, what else? Um, RFI readers, near frequency communication devices. Um, we look at a lot of look at those devices, and we look at how can we secure those devices. Um, what Another topic we kind of graze over, but it's becoming more um, excuse me prevalent is IoT devices. IoT devices next year, the number of IoT devices in the world is supposed to surpass the amount of human beings on the earth. So that's pretty large number. I think it's like 40 billion. That's the estimated it's supposed to hit um, next year, and that is just unbelievable. But security is always, or has been, until recently, kind of like an afterthought. Let's build a device and then figure out a way to make it secure. Now it's more like, as we're building this device, how can we incorporate security um, into the build as we build it? Um, Pretty cool stuff. If you're more interested in the IoT devices, definitely take a look at them. Um, if we got down to it, IoT devices probably could take a semester class, and we still wouldn't have a deep knowledge of where they all are. And IoT, Internet of Things, really is just any sort of sensor. You heard me say this earlier in the semester. You like a tire gauge that measures the air pressure in your car. Same thing with that's a wireless one. A wired one would be your oil gauge pressure. Um, what in your house you could have lights. All they are sensors or little devices reporting back to a system of sorts. Um, and it's just that's all it is. That's all it really is. Um, we look at let's see some vulnerabilities. Uh, I think the book talks about ways to if it, I'm trying to browse it real quick. Um, it talks about geotagging, geolocation, only being able to use certain devices in the area. We look at QR codes, which is pretty cool. QR codes, we ran into them through FedEx, UPS. We don't understand them as people looking at it, but as a computer, um, it just takes you to wherever it is designed to take you. So there's no real telling where it's going to go. I think back in 2014, tricks in tricks in the European, tricks in Europe gave out a bad QR code and took kids to um, a not kid-friendly site. So yeah, that was interesting. Like but since nobody can really tell where the QR code is going to take you, it doesn't have like a URL here up at the top. Um, Simply, there's no way to tell where it goes. Securing mobile devices, we talk about that. Screen lock. This is probably one of my good chapters to talk about too. Screen lock. If you have a finger swipe design, if you clean your phone off really, really good, and I invite everybody to try this, or you're even trying to mimic this. Clean the front of your face, or clean the front of your phone off well, and then drag your finger across the face of your phone, and it's going to create a streak at the end of your streak where you lifted up your finger, or where you lifted your finger. You're going to have a clear fingerprint on your phone. So you're kind of giving away what the password is to get into your phone. Same thing with like, I think after the face one, I have a number, I have a 6-digit number. Um, and with that, I mean, really, if you looked at the phone after I got done using it, you're going to see exactly where I pressed and have a good idea of how many combinations I can possibly have out of those numbers. Um, Interesting concept within this is I don't like sharing my phone. There's too much valuable information on my current mobile phone that I won't even give it out. I do a lot more on my phone than I do on my desktop, which is kind of strange. Um, but I do like mobile banking, logging into a lot more accounts on my phone. And if someone has to borrow my phone, I usually tell them no. I feel kind of bad after I do it, but it's just kind of for security reasons that I don't do that. I tell them I just don't have a phone. If they say, "Well, I just saw you using it," I was like, "No, I just don't let people. I don't let people use my phone." Um, Another cool design about the mobile phone security that I think they may have touched on in another chapter or lightly in this chapter is the way you hold your mobile devices. Um, do you hold your? I see people walking around with their phone. Um, what's the best way to explain this? They're holding their phone in front of their mouth, but their phone is like a slice of pizza. So as they talk, they're barely holding their phone, in front of their face, um, not gripping it. Um, they're just kind of balancing their phone in their fingers. That's not a very secure way to hold a device because if somebody wanted and phones aren't cheap right now, um, phones are a couple $100. If someone were to see a high value target, a senator, a statesman, run by and grab his phone and they'd have access to that device. Another interesting concept that I think the book kind of talks about in a previous chapter was using biometrics to unlock devices, fingerprint biometrics, face biometrics. It's interesting that they talk about biometrics, and phones are getting better since they're having more cameras installed on them. They can pick up the 3D images. Um, but early on, thumbprints, and this is a great one. Let me see if I can bring it up. I just saw this the other day. Yeah. So if you take a look at this, the Samsung fingerprint scanner has a flaw in it that exactly what I was just talking about. If there's like any sort of residue on your phone, um, the phone will pick up that dirty fingerprint and read it as authentic and let you back into the phone. Um, interesting little article that I saw yesterday. But yeah, with that, work on your project 10s. Make sure we get your essays. We had a little break from essays. Make sure you get your essays in. If you have any outstanding assignments, make sure to get those in. We're starting to reach we're at the 2/3 mark of the semester. So make sure you start getting those assignments in. If you have any questions, let me know. Um, but yeah, this is a very good, very interesting chapter in our book. And just kind of look around you of what all is now wireless, or what devices you have that are mobile, or what devices could be considered Internet of Things. Have a good week. Bye.